Call halal Yahweh Bashem Shai, Bahashem Rakar Kadash. Double honors unto the apostles, and honors unto my fellow laborers, the Akim, the confusion face Akim that have joined into our ranks, that do this work in truth and sincerity, risking and hazarding their lives to do so. To the hopeful elect, the Akwathium that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. The Spirit has been so heavy on this issue with me all day. And I did a video on the subject matter earlier, and I had some issues with some of the videos that I uploaded. I just didn't feel satisfied with it, and I wanted to do more. And, you know, and now it's just the internet got flooded with this topic from the heathens and from men of GMS alike, because I went to sleep wanting to do this sit down on this topic, on this Civil War topic, that is. Because the name of this video is America is in True Civil War. And it is. This is in the beginning stages. Why? Because the end day prophecies are playing out. Esau has been exposed. Esau, Edom, who refer to themselves as Caucasian or white. You know, that's the son, the men of perdition. They've been exposed. They are not the Israelites. They are not the people of the Lord. And they truly are the wicked according to the Bible. If you go into the Apocrypha, the history of Alexander, which they're very proud of in their movies and their books, on the images of their school mascots, you know, Trojan this and Trojan that and Spartan this and Spartan that, even though the Spartans were Israelites and not Caucasians at all, but they fabricate history. But nevertheless, when Alexander comes into power, the Bible mentions him by name, and he can be traced back to Esau, Edom. And the Bible clearly says that Edom would be in rulership when the end came. And one of the things that's going to bring down Edom is civil war. The house divided. Because that's what brought down the nation of Israel. When the nation of Israel, when the southern kingdom divided from the northern kingdom, all right, or the northern kingdom divided from the southern kingdom, Israel went down after that. First the northern kingdom and then the southern kingdom. All right. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, it clearly says that these curses will fall upon your enemy. Let's see if I can get that real quick. It says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemy, and on them that have hated thee, that hate thee, and which persecute thee. And you see Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans being hated and persecuted in America still to this day, daily. You know, they locking the children up, separating the children from their parents. But let's let this guy speak a little bit so we can go into the scriptures.
How do civil wars happen? Two or more sides disagree on who runs the country, and they can't settle the question through elections because they don't even agree that elections are how you decide who's in charge. That's the basic issue here. Who decides who runs the
and the voting system is beyond corrupt. This is true.
Country. When you hate each other but accept the election results, you have a country. When you stop accepting election results, you have a countdown to civil war.
Yep.
The Mueller investigation is about removing President Trump from office and overturning the the results of an election. We all know that. But it's not the first time they've done this. The first time a Republican president was elected this century, they said he didn't really win. The Supreme Court gave him the election. There's a pattern here. What do sure odds of the Democrats rejecting the next Republican president really mean? It means they don't accept the results of any election that they don't win. It means they don't believe that transfers of power in this country are determined by elections. That's a civil war. There's no.
And the truth be said, the people are just waking up to that fact. They've been duped. The transfer of power are not decided by election. Every president has been delegated. All right. If you're still, that goes to show you how much they don't know. All right. Because the whole system is rigged. And there are a few individuals that control everything, and every president and every leader is appointed. All right? There's no such thing as a democratic process. It's all a pipe dream and a lie, and it's falling apart. Okay, let's click to the next video. Back to
Introducing 5-Hour Tea with caffeine from green tea leaves. It's
wrong one. Here we go. Back to this one. The Patriot Nurse.
Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse. I want to talk with you guys today about the state of affairs in the
Let's start about right here.
The gun owner has shown restraint far and above what these people deserved.
She said the gun owner has shown restraint far above what these people have deserved. And she's talking about Antifa and all these different other groups and Black Lives Matter and all that. So what she's saying is they all should have been shot, and she's ready to shoot them. All right? That's literally what she's saying, whether you realize it or not.
When you start to stalk people and you start to...
You hear the gunfire in the background? She's at a gun range. I mentioned that earlier. Or near one. Somewhere near one. Because they're practicing. They're getting ready. So being at the gun range motivated her to want to do this video.
From a political level, encourage the disruption of peace and the disruption of people's safe havens, namely their home. Now we start to encroach on castle doctrine here. And when you're encouraging mobs to show up at people's home where there's an overwhelming level of force, a mob of however many people versus 1 to 2 people in a home, now we're at disparity of force, and now we're at potential for lethality here, okay?
Lethality here. And she's noticed she's wearing a hat that says "We the People." All right? Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were not included in that. Mind you. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans being killed, being hung in slavery, or being forced on the reservations. All right? That what was happening to them. All right? Or their land was being taken via the Alamo and all the West and that whole sort of thing. All those Western states were being taken at the force of a sword by we the people. So God wasn't for anybody that was so-called, or what they refer to as God wasn't for anyone who was so-called brown. Okay?
The preponderance of evidence would suggest that when you have a mob of people at a place who are chanting angry slogans, death to this, or, you know, we're going to take somebody out, whatever. Okay, now we're into some pretty dicey territory and some hot water. This, let us be clear here, is being encouraged by an elected official who has not been officially reprimanded through the appropriate channels for breach of decorum, etc., which means there is a level, certainly, of approval by this from the Democratic Party and from your average little neighborhood socialist. I think that what's going to happen is you're going to see for the first time, and we're setting up for it, a true civil war. And let's go back here for a few moments here. Let's evaluate the American Revolution.
Well, she just pretty much admitted it, all right? And it is going to be a civil war, all right? But civil war is also code for race war, all right? That's also code for race war with them, which is actually prophesied in the Bible, that this would happen, okay? It's prophesied. Let's go back to Isaiah. I think I read it earlier. I'll read it again. The 19th chapter. And verse 2. All right? This is Isaiah 19:2. And it says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, and city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." All right? Verse 3, "And the spirit of Egypt shall fall in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof." And the counsels are being destroyed. So these Edomites are getting ready to fight each other. They're getting ready to fight Jake. They're getting ready to fight all the other heathen. It's getting ready to go down. Why? They're losing their country, and they're losing their grip. They're dying. They have a low birth rate. They're losing their wealth. They're losing their health. They're losing their way of life. They're losing their place and their privilege. And they do not like it. And they're going to go kicking and screaming. Okay? Let's see if I can find this clip on The View that I saw that got really heated. Yep.
Sometimes even
Salakia for the damn.
don't smell so good.
There we go.
Right now, a third of Americans actually believe that a second civil war will happen within the next 5 years. Now, what does that actually mean? A civil war, because the Civil War was really about race and slavery. So what makes people think, do they see something I don't see? Did we miss something?
Yes, they see that we're going backwards. They see that now it's still about otherism. It's now about immigrants. It's now about Muslims. And so we're very much in that culture war. I mean, John Meacham's book outlines.
Now let's fast forward to this lady, because what everyone said was, you know, except Joy trying to bring that everybody come together, love, love, love stuff. But that's not what's happening. But let's let this Edomite woman right here speak. And she is an Edomite. Her spirit says it. All right? For those of you who are new to this, everyone that looks like her does not necessarily mean they're Edomite. So I can already get the scoffing going on, because there's people that look like her who have Negro parents, forefathers. Okay? Just like it's the other way around. There's people that look like Whoopi Goldberg who has Edomite foreparents, which could easily be with Whoopi, because Whoopi has laid with a lot of Edomite men in the past. Okay? I think she was married to the dude from that television show about the bar. I forget the name of it. The one that made Woody Harrelson famous. But let's let her speak real quick.
When I first came to the show, when you guys first hired me, I talked about the culture war in the meeting, and I believe your quote was, "What war? It takes two sides to fight." I'm glad we've all conceded that there is an actual culture war that's raging in this country.
That's right. It's a culture war. Now watch how heated this gets between her and Whoopi. All right?
The second thing I want to say is that, okay, except for you, Whoopi. The second thing I want to say is that, yes, some of this is about race. I think we can concede that. But a lot of this is also about poverty, which, again, seems to be...
And see, Esau hasn't... And that's why Joy had that confused face on her look, because there hasn't been a lot of Edomites in extreme poverty up until lately. All right? Maybe these last 20, 30 years or so, they start being... Why? Because the curses are beginning to fall on them. All right? The drug epidemic, and et cetera, et cetera.
In the mainstream media. When you are living in a tiny town in America and your coal mine or steel mine went under and opiate addiction is raging in your town and there is no hope for your kids and you can't pay your insurance.
And that's how Edomites feel. She's telling you the truth right now. Her people from small town America, they have no hope and no future. And the truth is they don't. They have nothing but death coming. And after when they come back, they're going into slavery. Thus saith the Bible.
And you can't pay
it sounds
your
like
college.
Black people.
But I'm trying to, again, we have...
You know,
and then Whoopi said it sounds like that, because it is. That was what so-called brown and black people have been going through forever. And now it's the shoe is on the other foot. What do? They opioid and kill themselves and commit suicide left and right and take meth and destroy themselves because they can't handle it. Slavery going to be really hard for these Edomites, man.
I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a crazy way.
I adore you, as you know.
Yes.
But
which was a lie.
I'm trying to explain.
Wait.
No, I'm trying to explain.
I know you what you're trying to do. I get it. And that's why I said it with a smile, because poor people are everywhere. That's not just white.
As well.
Yes.
I'm trying to explain. I have been to these places.
So have I, Megan. We've both been there. We know.
We had John Meacham saying Trump's getting elected in 2020 on the show. He's a presidential historian. It's more than likely going to happen if there are no lessons learned. And again, everyone's in a lot of pain. A lot of stuff is raging. I just come on the show every day trying to explain what Red America is thinking and doing and why this man got elected, because I truly believe I understand
appreciate your position.
Right. And she told you Trump only got elected because white America wanted him in there, because they want America to be great again. When America was great, they were not struggling. Only Jacob was struggling. All right? This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And it says, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, and which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid." That's those warning signs for war. "And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountains shall stand still in 3 hours, and there shall not run." There's going to be no water. War is coming. Call Halal Yahweh Hashem Shai, by Hashem Wakakadash. Shalom.